Agriculture and Allied Services Practice at KPMG. I'm extremely privileged to be moderating this session as part of World Food India 2025. The theme for the session today is Jharkhand's Indigenous Superfoods from Local Heritage to Global Health. At the outset, I would like to welcome the Government of Jharkhand delegation members who will also be a part of the discussion today. And I would request Sri Pranab Kumar Paulji to felicitate our guests today. Starting with Dr. Abu Bakr Siddiqui, he is an IAS officer currently serving as the Secretary of the Department of Agriculture Animal Husbandry Cooperative and also the Department of Forest, Environment, Climate Change in the Government of Jharkhand. Welcome, sir. Next, Shri Arva Rajkamal, he is an IAS officer currently serving as the Secretary of the Department of Industries, Mines and Geology as well as PWD in the Government of Jharkhand. Welcome, sir. Next, we have Shri Varun Ranjan. He is an IAS officer and is the current Managing Director of the Jharkhand Industrial Infrastructure Development Corporation, JIDCO. He is also the Managing Director of Jharkhand Industrial Area Development Authority, GIADA. Welcome, sir. Next, I would like to welcome Shri Vishal Sagar. He is an IAS officer currently serving as the Director of Industries in the Government of Jharkhand. Welcome, sir. Last, from the industry, we have Shri Kumar Abhishek Urao. He is a dynamic entrepreneur and founder of the Open Field based in Khunti, Jharkhand. Welcome. To set the context for the session, let me just take you through a short narrative wherein in a tribal region in Jharkhand, a grandmother steps into a forest at dawn. She knows which leaves to pluck, which grains to soak, and which roots to boil. On her plate, you will find moringa leaves, small millets, tamarind, and mahua flowers. To her, these are not superfoods. These are simply food that heals, food that sustains, and food that has kept her family strong for generations. These ingredients are more than nutrition, they are heritage. Each ingredient has a story of festivals celebrated, of resilience in times of drought, and of knowledge whispered from elders to children. Jharkhand's indigenous communities have lived with this wisdom for centuries. And here's the fascinating twist. What was once cooked quietly in the clay pots deep within the forests of Jharkhand is now making waves thousands of miles away. Moringa, for example, is being branded as the miracle tree in wellness shops in New York. Millets are celebrated by the United Nations as the grains of future. They are gluten-free, climate-smart, and rich in nutrients. Forest honey, tamarind, mahua-based products are entering premium health markets in Europe and Japan. So there's a big opportunity today. Jharkhand's superfoods are powerful, but they need bridges. From farm to market, from forest to global consumer, and from local tradition to international recognition. It's time to carry these foods and the stories behind them from local heritage to global health. With that, let me invite the first speaker for our session today, Shri Arva Rajkamalji, who will talk about the roots of nourishment, unveiling Jharkhand's edible heritage. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, and very good afternoon, respected dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
It gives me immense pleasure to talk about the rich diversity of food availability in Jharkhand. So before I dwell into food, I just want to give a brief introduction about the state to all the dignitaries who are present. There are geological studies, scientific research that has established the fact that some parts of Jharkhand, especially Kolhan, is the oldest geological formation. When earth form came out of water, there are studies to say that Kolhan region of Jharkhand is the first earth form that came out of water. So the history of Jharkhand, be it geological formation, be it the forests, be it the rich biodiversity, Jharkhand is known for its great green coverage and rich mineral availability, and at the same time a great mix of tribal indigenous culture and varied availability of food resources across the state. Today when we talk about opportunities in food sector, be it food processing or canned food, especially when I talk about it, usually we come across three kind of keywords that usually people use. People talk about organic foods. The food has to be organic, less fertilizer use, and the food has to be naturally grown. That is one aspect of it. The next one is low calorie food. The food has to be tasty, it should have good shelf life, and at the same time it should not lead to obesity or other health complications. So we talk about these healthy foods. And the third aspect is superfoods. So what are the foods after consuming which I am going to get all the minerals, vitamins and other nutrients which are necessary for the survival of human being. On all these three fronts, be it the nature of being organic in nature, the nature of being healthy food, and also being a superfood, I believe Jharkhand offers a very unique array of food items when you look at the overall food scenario in the country. Jharkhand has rich tribal culture where nearly 32 indigenous tribal communities are surviving and prospering today. And if you look at not just the variety in the customs of the tribal communities which are there, but even in terms of the food, there is a wide variety that has been found across the state. Though the state is a small state in nature, the variety of food that we have across the state is very rich in nature. So starting from a basic rice consumption to we have usage of bamboo shoot that we generally see in the northeastern part of the country, and we also have the northern part of the country where we use millets, especially wheat. Even that kind of food availability is seen in Jharkhand. So going into the unique advantages of Jharkhand, we can look at the mushrooms. This is a superfood which is highly in demand and it's very seasonal in nature. So usually you have these exotic mushrooms coming up during the monsoon season. Jharkhand is blessed with a wonderful monsoon season. Every year we have 4 to 5 months of rains where exotic mushrooms are available across the state. And I believe that under the Prime Minister Formalization of Micro Enterprises Scheme, PMFME, the many startups have taken this basic food resource and trying to pack them, can them. I even saw a company that is making noodles with organic mushrooms. So I believe this is one area where I believe there is a great scope for Jharkhand, where the things that we talked about, healthy, organic and being superfood, all three factors come together. So in addition, I just want to highlight the millets aspect as well. Traditionally, millets have been an important source of food in Jharkhand, just like most of the regions with aboriginal indigenous communities. It has been a part of our food culture, especially if you look at gram. Jharkhand boasts the highest yield in the country. In addition, we also have minor forest produce. If you look at Jharkhand, 47% of the landmass of Jharkhand has forests or bushy lands, which are, we generally call them as deemed forest areas. So I believe that is one of the highest in the whole country. So you have this availability of minor forest produce throughout the year. Mahua is a very traditional food item that we use in Jharkhand, where even a form of an alcohol is also prepared using Mahua. So maybe not taking the alcohol into picture, but we can look at this, the new age probiotic drinks that are coming up. We have this kombucha, which is in a very high demand when it comes to cities. Most of the stores are running out of kombucha. So can we look at a Mahua based kombucha? That could be something that we can work on, because there is an availability of Mahua throughout the year. And also there is chironji, which is a superfood. It has a lot of protein and fat, which can be very useful if people want to take it as superfood. And in addition, our honey is one of the purest. It is still quite surprising to see that there are some honeys which are like branded from different countries in the world, which are being sold at nearly 100 times the honey that is being sold in Jharkhand. But I believe when it comes to being organic, it is as organic as one of the purest honeys in the world. So I believe this is where something that we can link the market, we can scale it up. We invite the investors to look at honey processing. Can we take it up at the level of the honeys that are produced in New Zealand, Australia? That is something that we need to work on. So just to not because our other speakers also going to dwell into various aspects of it. I'm just supposed to give an introduction. I believe one important thing is Jharkhand food is very unique, and the availability of food, especially the new age superfoods, are available in Jharkhand throughout the year. The only thing that we are missing is the market linkage and scaling up our production. So our farmers, our indigenous brothers and sisters, they do produce everything organically, and we invite the investors and the visitors who are witnessing our presentation today to kindly spread the message across and promote our industry and our farmers. Last but not the least, Jharkhand is one of the poorest regions in the country and in the world, and our farmers are not naturally inclined for a more of a business mindset. So they do produce things which are superfoods in nature, but they do consume at a local level. But in this age of globalization, where the shelf life of food items are increased because of the new technologies, can we take these food items and give them good livelihood? That is something that we need to work together. And I once again thank the organizers for giving this opportunity to me. And we believe if you want to explore more about Jharkhand foods, especially the foods which are being processed in nature, we have a Jharkhand pavilion, and there we have displayed most of the food varieties that are being produced in Jharkhand, and you will get many ideas there. And if you want further issues about, if you want to know more about the scalability of your food technology or food transition ideas, we are very much welcome to discuss things with you. And I once again appreciate you for taking time to listen to our presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir, for that insightful presentation and taking us through the rich history of Jharkhand, and also talking about some of the superfoods like mushrooms, millets, as well as the minor forest produce, and also articulating the demand that's growing for some of these superfoods. And therefore, if there are any investors in the house, I think you must look at the opportunity and tap into it. With that, next I would like to invite Shri Abu Bakar Siddiqui ji, who will talk about the indigenous cultivator, connecting skills to sustainable cultivation. Sir.
Good afternoon, everybody. Respected dignitaries on dais, my colleagues, Shri Arwa Rajkamal, Shri Varun, Shri Vishal, organizer from KPMG, and Shri Abhishek, and all other dignitaries present here. Thank you, Arva, for setting up a very elaborate context setting of this discussion today. The idea is to promote, to introduce, and to motivate people for the cultural diverse food habits of Jharkhand. And already it is well said, Jharkhand has too many traditional indigenous food items available in this kitty. Nowadays, everywhere, everybody is very health conscious and everybody want to have better food items, superfoods, and also people's awareness regarding the healthy, nutritious and hygienic food has grown up a lot. And also technology has grown a lot. Now we have technology, how to store good foods and how to process, how to package. So when the world is moving, then their globe is changing. Jharkhand also should move ahead. And certainly there is a lot of opportunities, lot of potential for the state to work on. And as it is rightly mentioned, we have a very interesting stall already put up here, especially for the dignitaries from the outside. Would request you should visit. India is many countries within the country, because each and every state has lot of peculiarities, and almost every state has their pavilion here. So Jharkhand is placed in a little remote east, and Jharkhand has its cultural, traditional sensitivity and also food practices and food items. So this slide is just talking about the land profile of the Jharkhand. You can see out of our total 28 lakh hectares cultivable area, the rice is only 18 lakh hectares. The rest is especially pulses, maize, oil seed and coarse cereals. These are the other major area of coverage. And this also you can connect with the rich diversity of the Jharkhand in terms of agricultural practices. We have these 7 agroclimatic subzones, and each zone has its own importance. We have one Sandal Pargana region, we have Palamu region, we have Chota Nagpur, Kolehan regions. All this region has its own geoclimatic conditions and cultural values, and also different food items also in their area, and also practices. And if you see the agricultural growth, Jharkhand agriculture sector has grown by 3.8% in the last financial year. And we had recurrent history of drought, but still the last year was good for the agriculture, especially the Kharif. And as far as the indigenous practices are concerned, in every region, people have their own traditional agricultural practices, which is more natural and organic farming oriented. And if you see the figure, especially when we're talking about the green revolution or agricultural revolution, everybody talk about the hybrid varieties as well as the fertilizers. But Jharkhand has a traditional tendency of using less fertilizers. As a result, Jharkhand is one of the traditionally naturally organic state. That means average consumption of per capita consumption of fertilizer in Jharkhand is much lower than the national average. That means by nature, by practices, Jharkhand is already organic. So by promoting a little bit, it can convert into 100% organic or natural food items. And Jharkhand is also the major challenge for the agriculture in Jharkhand is the irrigation. And recently we have putting a lot of efforts to improve our irrigation facilities, especially this precise irrigation like micro-lift, etc. And Johar was one project we took up through our Gramin Vikas department, and that have produced a lot of good agricultural practices. And Jharkhand, another importance of Jharkhand is mainly women-oriented. Women are very laborious, and they are very much into the all kind of agricultural practices, and we have good strength in terms of women FPOs, SHGs, etc. And state also has a strategy to support women in all terms, and we have almost 2.25 lakh rural women were directly participating in FPOs. And if you see, most of the FPOs are women driven, and they are actively involved in various agricultural activities. And this is already, Arva was speaking about the major indigenous, you can also say superfoods, millet, pulses, oilseed, tuber crops, forest producers. When we say millet, it also has a lot of sub-varieties, ragi, kodo, little millet, etc. And most of these items are drought resistant, nutritious, and people were using, this was part of their plate much long back. So it was very much there in food habits of the tribal communities, and there was a time people were mainly taking that as major food, and later on there was a shift, but again there is a huge shift towards back to the old traditions and customs. And recently one of our district called Gumla also got national appreciation for the effort they have taken for the energizing the millet sector, and lot of any other state district also working on millet. And we also have a state millet mission. Through that state millet mission, state government is also giving incentive for the farmers. Those who are cultivating millet, they will get a particular amount of money as an incentive. So state has also a proactive support for the millet. And also state has a special scheme for supporting FPOs, for grant to FPOs. There is a national scheme. Similarly, other than, even if you are getting the national fund under the national scheme also, even the state scheme also you can claim, and state is giving FPO matching grant to the local FPOs. These are some of the major items. Some of the items are already referred by Arva. Rugda is very popular, and those who are from Jharkhand, they know it is such a delicious food, and a different form of mushroom you can say, but which is especially that Ranji, Kuti area, this is very popular. And it has a lot of, is a rare edible mushroom growing underground near the saltry roots, and found abundantly in dense forest areas, and very nutritious and also very delicious. And people call them as vegetarian mutton, because that kind of effect that Rugda is giving. And bamboo shoots, we also have a lot of bamboo cultivation, and bamboo shoots also in the form of karil, sandana, handwa and all. These are all part of the traditional tribal dining table, you can say. And bamboo shoots, you know, that is very rich in fiber, protein, carbohydrate, amino acid, etc. Even in Northeast India also has lot of bamboo kind of varieties. So Jharkhand also has its own contribution in the bamboo sector. And this is a very rich in vitamins also, vitamin A, E, B, etc. And also a kind of medicinal in terms of controlling cholesterol, etc. And Mahua and Chironji already Arva was speaking about, so I don't want to repeat much again. But Mahua is very much part and parcel of the Jharkhand culture. It is not simply a food, it is a part of their life. And everything of Mahua is being used. And it has lot of, which is called butter tree, which was part of their festivities, part of their lifestyle, and everywhere Mahua, you can see the Mahua. And Mahua butter also used, prepared and used. And Chironji also is very highly costly item, and very rich in fiber, and also very good superfood. And it is abundantly available, and nowadays packaging and exporting also people started. And those who are interested in the food sector, this is also one area. It's a forest produce, of course, but still easily available, and one can invest lot of money in that sector as well. Another one is this Koinar Sag. And if you see the tribal food culture, Sag is very much part of their dishes. It is a side dish basically, along with major curry, etc. People use as a side dish, but it has lot of values, and also medicinal values. It enhances digestion, help prevent constipation, purifies the blood and promote healthy, also good for skin, and also it says it reduces the risk for diseases like diabetes and cancer, etc. So nowadays lot of kind of attraction towards this kind of food also growing up. So almost most of these points we have already covered, which whenever you talk about superfood or indigenous foods, that is time tested. People have tested, history has tested, and which is really useful for the and also adaptable for the every kind of human being, and also good for their health and other aspects, which also has a natural quality to prevent most of the diseases. So, and also when we talk about the modern foods, a lot of in-depth issues are aligned with that. But with this kind of food items, which is naturally grown and also mostly organic grown, and it has very good health quality and nutritious values. And that is also part of sustainable agriculture, because we are also talking about climate resilient agriculture and also global warming, climate change, etc. From all that perspective also, this kind of food items are very much good for environment as well. And another sector is dairy. We have indigenous cattle, almost 125 lakh bovines, and we have a special Jharkhand species as well, varieties as well. But dairy sector still in a kind of struggle, which is not highly developed, and we have a lot of potential though, because one issue is low productivity, the other is disease related issues, and people's kind of lack of interest to adapt modern technologies. These are some of the issues, and the department is trying to improve, and we have a Mukhyamantri Pashudan scheme to kind of support our dairy farmers in terms of incentives, in terms of subsidy, etc. And if anybody is interested, we can give the details. And we also have skilled manpower, especially Maitri trained people, etc. And also Jharkhand has improved its milk production tremendously for the last 10-15 years. It has grown multiple times. But still, we are working on that. AI coverage is a big challenge. Now we are almost 20%, but that need to taken up by 80 plus. These are some of the natural traditional fish items available in Jharkhand, because we all are familiar with most of the sea fish items, but these are the traditional fish items abundantly found in Jharkhand, which has a lot of nutritional values. Just name, especially magur and all, most of the people will be aware about these fish items: magul, morel, chitala, singhi, etc. And also ornamental fish items. And recently in Jharkhand, we also started pearl culture. So that also in India, Jharkhand is going to become a model for pearl culture. So the fisherman is developing the pearl. So these are some of the thoughts I just thought to share. Or if anybody want to have more details, our people are here, and we are also always available over phone. Or if especially my guests from outside the country, you are requested to visit Jharkhand, and we will be giving all kind of supports and whatever kind of knowledge sharing that can happen. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the detailed presentation, taking us through not only agriculture but also the animal husbandry as well as dairy and fisheries side of it. A couple of takeaways as far as I am concerned. Obviously, some of the foods that you mentioned, how they help prevent some of the lifestyle diseases like diabetes, and also help preventing diseases like cancer. So I think that's something that was interesting to know. And also I think the fact that Jharkhand government is also providing a lot of incentives to various FPOs was something which I thought was a great initiative. Next, I would want to invite Shri Varun Ranjan ji for making a presentation on transforming heritage foods for modern markets.
Good afternoon to all. Johar from Jharkhand. Respected Secretary Agriculture Abubakar sir, Secretary Industries Arawa sir, Vishal Director Industries, Himanshu ji from KPMG, and Abhishek ji. Apart from that, all the officers from the government of Jharkhand, the guests and other dignitaries who are present here, I welcome all of you to this session from the state of Jharkhand in this exhibition. It is indeed an honor and privilege for me to present how we are going to transform the heritage food of Jharkhand to cater to the modern global market. Arwa sir and Abu sir has very precisely outlined what Jharkhand has to offer in terms of the indigenous heritage and superfoods. Jharkhand is a state which is very rich in superfood and something which has been built up built in the culture of the Jharkhand, in the daily routine of the Jharkhand, cutting across the centuries. It is something which is in the DNA of the Jharkhand. So it is not something that what we are talking as the world has come across to talk about. Something which is present. We are just taking it to the world, and here I am to present how Jharkhand can utilize this opportunity, how this global demand Jharkhand can cater to, and how as an investor, as an enabler, you can help us to move forward in this transformational journey for the people of the Jharkhand. So I will be structuring my presentations around these 5 topics, where I will be talking about the untapped treasure of Jharkhand, the value addition that needs to be done, what is the consumer mandate right now, and how the government is currently building the ecosystem that is required to cater to the global demand, and how we together can take Jharkhand from forest to the global plate. Coming to the first part of untapped treasure of Jharkhand, a lot has been already told about it, that Jharkhand has a very rich heritage. We are sustainable in sustainability is rooted in our tradition. Organic is something that comes default to us. We are not going to manufacture anything. It is a default practice for us, but there lies a market disconnect. Currently, these superfoods, these highly nutritious foods, they are locally consumed. They are not market ready. They lack the processing, packaging and branding. And that is why our farmers of the Jharkhand are missing this opportunity to take it to the national and global markets. So currently, with the rising knowledge and awareness about the health and the potential these foods carry, there has been a rising demand, especially after the COVID era, where people are looking forward for natural, ethical and functional fruits. And Jharkhand, these foods items of Jharkhand, they are well positioned to meet these global trends. So what we are going to talk about is how we can take these foods from our field and forest to the fork and plate of the global consumers. So what is the value addition that we need to do? So currently, the market reality, if we talk about, when our producers are producing the raw materials, suppose we take an example of a mahua flower, they are selling the raw mahua flower at the 40 rupee per kg. But when it is processed into a tea or laddu, they are sold at 300 rupees per 100 gram packet. So that is the kind of the prosperity this value addition is going to bring for our farmers, for our entrepreneurs. So this will lead not only to the increase in the income of the farmers, but also it will lead to a better utilization of the produces that we are making by extending the shelf life and reduce the post-harvest losses that we are currently making. And since, as Secretary Sir has already pointed out, that we have a large number of women entrepreneurs, SHGs, FPOs who are working in it. So when we are transforming this, we are directly touching the lives of the women farmers and as well as the tribal farmers. So, but when we are talking about it, it will need infrastructure. We will need processing units, dryers, packaging labs, cold chains. We will need to train our entrepreneurs in hygiene, branding, food safety, certifications, as well as we will need to link them to the e-commerce platforms, which will take their produce from the local level to the national and global level. So currently, under the leadership of Honorable Chief Minister, what Jharkhand is trying is not only to just preserve the heritage, but to industrialize it in a sustainable and responsible manner so that we take our culture, our produce at a global stage. So what is the consumer mandate currently? So as Arwa sir has rightly pointed out, that currently people are talking about organic, it should be natural, it should be ethically sourced from local communities, and it should have a sustainable nutrition pattern. And it is the foods that come from the Jharkhand who ticks all these check boxes. So what global consumer is currently asking for in European countries, in Western countries, Jharkhand has it inbuilt. So when we take these products, we will be talking about how we can create the strong ecosystems of quality assurance, of food safety infrastructures, of packaging, and of delivery systems. Now we will talk about what government is currently doing and what it plans to do so that we build that comprehensive and holistic ecosystem that helps in taking these foods from our field to the global market. So currently in JIADA, we have around 254 acres of land reserved for the food processing sector. Currently, we already have 132 acres of land allotted to various units of food processing, and more than 500 units are currently operating in government-owned industrial areas. The number will be far more when we include the industrial units which are operating in the private industrial areas. So, what is the opportunity for the investors? Is we already have ready to move 122 acres where you can come directly and set up industrial units in a minimum period of time. The state government also proposes to invest 60 crores in creating plug and play infrastructure, flatted factories in next 3 to 4 months, which will help you reduce the setup cost and gestation period. The current investments that is in pipeline for F&B sector in the state of Jharkhand is roughly around 4,000 crores, and we expect that this thing is going to rise in the coming period. Currently, most of the players who are in F&B sector, they are looking Jharkhand as the central position in the eastern India, where if you set up a manufacturing unit in Jharkhand, you are able to cater to the markets of Bihar, Bengal, Odisha, Chhattisgarh and eastern UP. So that reduces the logistic cost which is involved in moving the finished product from the industrial manufacturing unit. We have also identified a lot of land for creating the modern warehousing structures. We have a ready to move logistic park in Nirsa Dhanbad, which is built with a investment of around 11.39 million USD. It has got cold chains, dry freight supports, logistic ready hub, and to reduce the post-harvest losses and ensure farm to market connectivity. We are also investing to create infrastructure, which is PM Ekta Mall, which is part of ODOP scheme, and it is to showcase one single platform to showcase the tribal crafts, foods, and GI tag products. Apart from that, we are also building World Trade Center in Ranchi, which will help us to facilitate the exports for the tribal food products with an inbuilt DGFT regional office and trade services. Apart from that, we are already investing in lands and sheds for setting up processing units, cold storages. We have ramp scheme where we are helping MSMEs scale support. We are setting up a dedicated incubation center for forest-based startups. And we are going to organize buyer-seller meets for national and global market linkages. And we have started MSME training and capacity building through Bishala initiative. Apart from that, we are also investing in creating global export and global outreach through export facilitation centers and targeting health conscious and diaspora markets at the national and global level. So our focus is to brand Jharkhand as the center of the tribal superfoods and also to partnership with the leading e-commerce market players to take our branded products into the global markets. So what we are here for and what we have to offer to the investors, to the enablers, to the buyers who are here, that this is a time that we should be investing in the superfoods, in the story of the Jharkhand. Jharkhand is at the cusp of the beginning of a revolution in this area. So all of you are most welcome to set up the units and bring modern equipments for processing plants. Government is ready to provide the land, sheds and the necessary facilitations and approvals. We also invite you to create new product lines from the traditional format, moving into the health bars, beverages and fusion snacks with these superfoods and heritage foods. And also, Jharkhand needs a storytelling, the market access. So we also need the enablers, our partners, who will help us craft a new story for the Jharkhand superfood to take us to the global markets. You can also help us skill our local workforces to build global products. And overall, we will be happy to collaborate with you on branding, packaging, and logistic solutions for a future ready global market in Jharkhand. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, sir, for that strong pitch on inviting the investors to look at Jharkhand. I think, as you mentioned, I think there are three broad areas where the government is working at. One is the infrastructure side of it, wherein obviously there is space available, there is plug and play infrastructure which is coming up. Second is the training part of which, where government itself is taking initiative, but I think there is a collaboration which is possible with the private sector. And lastly, the market linkage part of it, because somewhere it also needs that storytelling and branding for it to become a global product. With that, let me just invite Shri Vishal Sagar, who's going to talk about fostering ease of doing business for superfood startups. Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Himanshu. Respected Secretaries Abu sir, Arwa sir, MD Jitko and Jada, Varun sir, Mr. Abhishek, and Mr. Himanshu himself, who is acting as the coordinator for this session, where we are getting an opportunity on behalf of the state of Jharkhand to interact with not just the investors we are looking forward to, but also with the new and budding entrepreneurs who are going to play an important role when it comes to reciting a new success story, growth story for the state of Jharkhand. Now, I'll be very pleased to tell you that Jharkhand has a very unique position. Not many of us know actually that we are a heavily industrialized state. We have heavy industries. We have a very unique position because we don't just manufacture steel, we don't just extract uranium from the ground beneath us, but we also manufacture automobile parts, automobiles. We are into large production of gases, important gases, and I'm very proud to say that during the COVID pandemic, it was our state which was at the forefront of providing oxygen to the large parts of our country, and we played an important role. But at the same point of time, we are also a state, as had been said by my distinguished speakers before me, that we are a state which really values a lot about the indigenous food items, the products, the produce, and we don't favor any kind of adulteration. We are a state, a province where unadulterated food are abound. So the distinguished speakers before me have already spoken a great deal about the potential which we have when it comes to superfoods, organic materials. But I'll be specifically speaking to you about the environment that the state government of Jharkhand is creating for budding entrepreneurs, for investors who are willing to come and invest in the state of Jharkhand. I'll be discussing you about the important policies that we have brought out recently, the policies that we are actually working at present to present a very, very friendly business environment where we wish to encourage new investors come into the state. And there are certain sectors, obviously superfoods, food processing industry is one of them, where we see the state of Jharkhand as one of the four front runners to take mileage of this situation. So I have also divided my presentation into these four specific parts, where I'll be speaking specifically about the policies that we are offering. The highlight amongst them is our Jharkhand Industrial and Investment Promotion Policy. Since this is World Food India and we are focusing on food items, food processing, so we cannot leave behind the Jharkhand Food and Feed Processing Industry Policy, which has come out in 2024. Then also, since we are talking about budding entrepreneurs, we are talking about new investors. So we have Jharkhand Startup Policy 2023 that I'll be discussing with you. And then the single window system. Now, single window system is an important component under the ease of doing business, as you all must be aware of. So it's a very robust system that we have created, where all our approvals are done on one single platform. An entrepreneur can apply for various government related approvals on that platform, and where we actually do it in a very small period of time. So it's an ease of doing business component that we'll be discussing. Yeah. So these are the important policies that Jharkhand has. Very, very important policies when it comes to various sectors. As I have told you about the JIPP, I'll be detailing you about it more, but we also have an export policy. So it is a policy which we are really aiming forward with, and we want exports to increase in terms of not just the volume but also in terms of the currency value, the foreign exchange which the policy can earn. I've told you about the startup policy. I'll be briefing you further about it. Then talking about the new age technology, we have a Jharkhand EV policy, electric vehicle policy. So we have got a lot of encouraging queries on this policy. We, as Varun sir had told you, that the Jharkhand state is looking forward to create industrial park, large logistic parks. So we have a industrial park and policy, logistic policy also. We are into ethanol production policy. That is also a primary policy that we are aiming. And then the up and coming industrial sectors, there are sector specific policies. We have a policy for IT, data center and BPO services. Then we also have a policy for solar equipments. And then for budding entrepreneurs, again we have a MSME policy. Now, JIIPP is an important policy. It was brought out by the state in 2021. So when we talk about incentive policies, the idea is to encourage entrepreneurs. The idea is to encourage investment into the state of Jharkhand, to encourage setting up of new industries where we can have new employment opportunities, new entrepreneurs coming up. At the same point of time, we want to increase our state GDP. We want to increase the employment rate in the state, and these are some of the important sectors where we are actually aiming. And textiles and apparels, automobiles, agro food and meat processing, we'll be discussing about it. But then at the same point of time, we are looking at sectors of pharmaceuticals, healthcare, light and medium engineering. Why I'm telling you all these things? Because though this is a platform for food processing, but then Jharkhand offers you more than food processing and food industries. There are sectors where Jharkhand actually has very lucrative incentive policies. Kindly go through them. We have them on our online portal also. We are providing you a copy of these policies in brief also, but you can go in details and you can find out which suits you best for your business requirements. Now, whenever we are talking about incentive policies, the idea is to encourage business, the idea is to encourage investors. Most of the investors face problems when it comes to infrastructure requirement in their projects. So the project cost runs into millions of rupees, and our policy specifically provides you great assistance. We are providing, I'll not be discussing each and every point because it will be too much of academic work, but we have up to 25% of value which we reimburse, and all these are reimbursements. So whenever you are setting up a plant, up to 25% of it investment, capital investment cost will be borne by the state of Jharkhand. We'll be reimbursing that amount to you. And then also at the same point of time, we also do away with a lot of government fees, a lot of government charges. So whenever you are registering a new company or setting up a new plant in the state of Jharkhand, to encourage that, we are waiving a lot of other duties and fees and registration charges. The details are there in the policy document, which is available in public domain. Kindly go through it. And since I told you in the beginning that I'll be talking about two major policies, but then here's a comparison also about other policies. So industrial and investment promotion policy is a major policy, but at the same point of time, we have sectoral policies where the incentives are same. So if somebody is aiming to invest in particular sectors, then there are sectoral specific policies also. Kindly make use of them, read about them, and you will be better equipped to actually understand how the state of Jharkhand can help you further. Now, when we talk about food and processing industry, food processing industry, Jharkhand actually projects itself as a front runner. And as the distinguished speakers before me have told you, because of our climatic conditions, because of our geographical location, we are blessed with a lot of unique items, indigenous food items. And keeping that in mind, the state of Jharkhand believes that we can be a global agro-processing state. And with our kind of people who are in our population, the hard-working people we have, we can be a major state in terms of food processing. That is the vision, and the objectives are also to not just invest large projects, but also to handhold entrepreneurs come up in this sector. So food and feed processing industry, we are not just supporting small entrepreneurs, we are not just supporting small groups, we are also supporting a large investment in this sector, and the highlights of the policy are given here. And at the same point of time, the state of Jharkhand aims to have a widespread equal development across the state. So when we talk about regions where industry has not expanded in terms in comparison to other regions of the state, so these are indigenous tribal dominated areas. Here the incentives are actually more than the other regions in the state. So 45% of your investment cost is borne in these areas compared to 35% in other regions of the state. Also we have other incentives also, but in all these indigenous tribal areas where we want to encourage employment generation, where we want to encourage economic prosperity, the incentives actually are greater than in other regions of the state. As I have mentioned before, that we are not just reimbursing the capital cost, but we are also reimbursing other charges, other fees which are charged by various agencies, whether it is the APMC charges, whether it is stamp duty and registration. In fact, we encourage patent registrations also. So our policy specifically provides patent registration fees to be reimbursed, and then also market development assistance are also given. We also encourage our entrepreneurs to travel abroad to be part of such events in other countries also, where they get exposure in these sectors. So we are also sponsoring them to travel abroad and get major exposure. At the same point of time, quality is an important thing, as has been mentioned by other speakers. It's just not about production, it is not just about increasing the production, it is also about increasing the quality, maintaining quality of world standards. So for that, yes.
I want to ask, these all policies are only for domicile of Jharkhand or somebody who's coming from another state?
So we have these policies from people who are willing to invest in the state of Jharkhand. They'll be required to register in the state of Jharkhand, and then these benefits can be availed of. Yes. And then,
Company in India.
Yes.
With investment in Jharkhand.
Yes. Yes.
It's for open for everyone.
Yes. And when we talk about competitive edge, so certification plays an important role, whether it is quality certifications, other standard certifications, that also we are reimbursing. As I've told you that startup policy is also a major attraction in the state, and these are the incentives that we are providing in the startup policy. We have Atal Bihari Vajpayee Innovation Lab, ABVIL, where we are actually encouraging startups. We are also having a plug and play facility at this lab, where the new startups can come up, they can test their ideas. All these things we are actually encouraging in a big way. Single window system, I touched upon it in the beginning of my talk, but it's one of the most robust single window systems in the country, and all these 26 departments. Now entrepreneurs, businessmen, they always talk that it is very difficult to get clearances, it is very difficult to get licenses from the government. So we have brought all these challenges at one place. We have tried to address them through a single window. We are actually, as we talk here, as we interact here, our system is working to improve our single window system, and we are aiming to have it even easier for the user interface. Right. So in any case, if you have further queries about investment opportunities in the state of Jharkhand, if you have any queries about your growing entrepreneurship, how the state can help you further, we'll be happy to have a talk with you. We'll be happy to reply back to you. These are the details. Also, the policies that I've talked about, they are available on advantage.jharkhand.gov.in. All these policies are available there. They are in public domain. Kindly go through them. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for taking us through. I think the key highlights were the 4 policies which are very relevant here. One is the overall state level industrial policy, there's the food and feed processing policy, the startup policy, as well as the single window system that exists. And I think what I saw on that single window slides were over 87% application approved and 500 crores of investments incentives disbursed, which gives me fair degree of confidence as an investor. And I'm sure you must look at some of the policies and the incentives that Jharkhand offers today. With that, last I want like to invite Mr. Kumar Abhishek Urao. He's an entrepreneur and he'll be talking about scaling indigenous superfoods from farm to global market.
Johar everyone, and first of all I would like to thank all the dignitaries and all the people who have come here and given us some valuable time to hear what Jharkhand has to offer. So before I start, I run a startup called the Open Field, and we basically cut cost, reduce wastage and increase climate interventions when it comes to forest. And just to simplify it, I'll start with a story, and this story starts from the village. Like every year, the mahua flower, and I'm quite sure like all of you have heard about the mahua flower in these presentations. So every year the mahua flower blooms in the tree, and every year it just drops down on the ground. These flowers are dehydrated, processed in the rawest form possible on top of a roof, on the roadsides, or any flat surface which is available. But at the same time, I thought this is the only way. But today, when I stand here and when I visit the expo, I see this undervalued crop, which is sold at little over $0.50 per kilo, is now being served as premium teas and being served in 5-star hotels at a premium price. And if you guys don't understand the significance, let me give you an example which might resonate much better in a much better way. So we've all seen the social media video of a cocoa farmer who tasted chocolate for the first time. He did not know whether that this is a finished product from a raw material which he grows from his village. This is a similar story which the farmers from Jharkhand face every day. And this is just not about a flower, not just about a seed. It is about the indigenous knowledge which is paired with technology and fair market and can transform communities. And this is the journey I want to share with you today, how scaling indigenous superfoods can transform the global markets. So the Indian forest economy is worth more than rupees 50,000 crores. Yet the tribal farmers who do all the work, collecting, processing, lose 80 to 90% of the value to the middlemen. The result, poor harvest practices, inconsistent quality, and a broken chain of trust. This is why indigenous crops like mahua, roselle, tamarind remain undervalued, even though the global market for natural functional food is over 300 million US dollars. Sorry, 300 billion. And this is what we do at the Open Field. We are trying to fix this broken system. We are building solar powered micro hubs in the villages. We connect these hubs through blockchain based traceability system and AI powered fair pricing tools. And we link these tribal farmers directly to the consumers, premium buyers, horeca, pharma, cosmetics, as well as conscious customers. In short, we are turning these villages into climate smart micro enterprises. So I'm presenting to you the Forest OS. This is the product which we are building. It comes into two parts, the brains and the bronze, like how I like to call it. It has a hardware and a software. So what we do is we tag these trees which are grown in the forest. We geotag them. We share the location with the buyers. They get complete transparency as to where the produce is coming from. We train the farmers with the SOP to scientifically harvest these products, and all these can be seen by the app which the buyer have. These things are then processed using a micro processing units which are powered by solar and that can be powered by electricity as well as wooden fire. So these microprocessing hubs can be controlled remotely and be monitored remotely using our app. And the buyers get in the end the product traceability card, which tells them the product journey. So till now, we have been working on ground with 250 plus farmers, and this has taught us some important lessons. That quality is a culture. When farmers see their product on a digital dashboard or in a branded box, they take pride and adopt the SOPs very quickly. The youth are the change makers. By training tribal youth to run these dehydrators and the apps, we not only reduce post-harvest loss, but also create dignified livelihoods. And we all know trust is everything. Buyers want transparency, farmers want fairness, and traceability bridges this gap. You can see the impact which we have created. We have onboarded more than 250 farmers and trained them as micro entrepreneurs. We've mapped more than 3,000 plus forest trees, and that spreads across 200 plus hectares to increase the traceability. This not only enhances the forest health, but it also plugs into the carbon offset module which we plan to implement by the year 2030. Our SOP based harvesting and has reduced wastage by 40% and carbon footprints by 90%. We've developed SOPs for key NTFPs like Mahua, Roselle, Chironji, etc. And our farmers have seen an increase in the income by 30%. We've not only partnered with the farmers, but we've also onboarded premium clients like Roseate, JW Marriott, Taj, and Salt Catering, etc. And we've also developed some of the products here. So on top you see the Mahua oil, which is being used heavily in the cosmetic industry. Below that is a brown rice called native variety of brown rice called Gora Chawal. And thirdly is the world's first ever vegan honey, which we have developed in-house in Jharkhand, and we currently hold the IP for that. And this is our team. We are three tribal leaders, co-founders who are leading this team. I am Kumar Abhishek Rao. I am an alumnus of NSRCL IIM Bangalore and an ex-pilot, and I have more than 10 years of experience in branding and storytelling. The other co-founder is Dr. Manisha Rao, who is a surgeon by profession, and Pratik Topo, who is an engineer. We've developed a full stack regenerative solution because we have lived the problem. And this is all rooted in Jharkhand. You can see the startups working here. And we are not only registered in Jharkhand, we are also incubated in IIT Kharagpur, IIM Bangalore, and ISB Hyderabad. And just to end my presentation, I would say that sustainability must include those who have protected it for generations. And I invite you all to visit our stall at the Jharkhand Pavilion, see the kind of work we guys are doing, and how we are trying to change the way the forests are being viewed right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Abhishek, and for telling that story, and I think taking up this cause. And I wish there are more entrepreneurs like you who come up in this field, and I'm really impressed by the idea of that forest OS. With that, we come to the close of the session. I think in summary, if I have to just summarize, I think on one side we have supply, which is organic, which is healthy. On the other side, there are consumer behaviors which are changing, and as Abhishek mentioned, I think 200 billion is the current market size of superfoods. It's growing rapidly at a 6 to 7% CAGR. So there is enough market and potential that is there. And I think Jharkhand as a state, as some of the officials have talked about, offers a great potential, both in terms of policy which exists and also the kind of infrastructure that is being built. So we would like to invite you to be a partner in this journey. I think with that, we'll close the session. Ashwini, Anjali, you want to felicitate the speakers, please.
So as we have come to the end of the session, so before closing this session, Department of Industries would like to felicitate today's speakers. And for this, I would like to call upon Shri Pranab Kumar Paul, Joint Director, Department of Industries, to please present the memento to Shri Abu Bakar Siddiqui Sir, Secretary, Department of Agriculture, Animal Husbandry and Cooperatives, Government of Jharkhand. Next, I would like to call upon Shri H.N. Dwivedi Sir, Director Fisheries, to please come forward and give the memento to Shri Arva Rajkamal Sir, Secretary, Department of Industries, Government of Jharkhand. I again request Shri Pranab Kumar Paul, Sir, to please present the memento to Shri Varun Ranjan Sir, Managing Director, JITCO and GIADA. I would like to call upon Shri Manoj Bhagat, Under Secretary, Department of Industries, to please come forward and present the memento to Shri Vishal Sagar, Director Industries. I request Manoj sir to present the memento to Shri Abhishek Urao, who is the founder of the Open Field, Khuti, Jharkhand. Requesting Shri Manoj Bhagat to present the memento to Shri Himanshu Ratan, who is partner, GNPS KPMG India. With this, we would like to close the session. On behalf of Department of Industries, I would like to thank you all for joining us today. Thank you all once again.